Hey everybody, J-Man back again. Yo, Shonen Tachi. How you guys doing today? Feeling a little lively, feeling a little energetic as you can tell. Super happy with how the review for the 4D Killers turned out. Make sure you guys check out the previous video and watch the whole thing. I know it's a long video, but I just really wanted to make sure, especially because those guys are rare, that they got the love and attention that they deserve. The last review that I saw of them was almost 10 years ago, and I felt like it was too brief. Felt like it had some, incorrect information. So, updated 2026 review of these two dudes, along with a cool anime stop-motion short battle, which all of those I aim to be PG. But I won't waste too much of your time with that. We'll just get straight into the interview and I'll talk more about it there. Today we're going to be looking at Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Storm Collectibles Son of Ogre Demon Back Baki. I know that's a super long title, but at the same time, it's something that perfectly and accurately describes this specific version of Baki. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Tune into the old videos. There's lots of reviews already up, lots of gameplay stuff, lots of music, and make sure you have some fun, most importantly, okay? So let's get to it, guys. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? You might be asking, J-Man, the intro Baki was out the box. Why is he showing me this in the box? Well, considering that Baki is this version, Demon Back Baki, is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. I don't know, when I got it in the package, I'm a collector. I've been, clearly you guys have been watching the videos. I appreciate everyone tuning in so far and all the new subscribers. Thank you. You guys have been watching the videos, right? You guys have been seeing all the figures I've been getting. The point that I'm trying to make is that I appreciate sometimes when you get something like this because it makes you feel like you got something special. So I'm going to start the unboxing here. Obviously, we're going to do editing magic, so the video won't start here, but technically, chronologically, you know what I mean? Technically. Oh yeah, PSA, don't use knives to open your figures, as I said. Use scissors. I'm 99% sure one of the Muscle Brothers grabbed J-Man scissors and forgot where they placed it. Or maybe the Muscle Brothers took it to, their job by accident or something. But it's okay. There's no harm in it. Let's just get back to Baki. Baki! Gotta record some Muscle Brothers soon, guys. I'm sorry I've been caught up with the figure stuff. Just, Ooh. I'm very excited for this Baki, guys. I was waiting for this. This is a figure I've wanted for a long time. I actually was gonna buy the original version of the Storm Collectibles. Wow, this looks great. You guys see that? That's awesome. Literally, this is the kind of unboxing I like. This is like, what if you just got it? Sorry about that. I had to stop recording really quick because I noticed it wasn't recording in 4K. Whatever. So now we're back with 4K. I'll do some editing magic and I'll make that part. Oh, wow. Ooh. Camera work for me, baby. Looks insane, guys. Looks so cool. This is exactly why I wanted this version. He has every single expression I need. He looks so cool. So buff. Him and Kaneko Man are gonna destroy the hell get revenge for their friends, Roby Musk and Wolfman. I kind of like that the shorts have been developing a little storyline. Low-key is cute. It wasn't intended, but it happened. Hanma Baki. Really cool. Alright, let's get back to the proper review. Just want to show that. Don't want to get too ahead of myself with this. So, this is the meat and potatoes of the review. We're going to be taking a look at Storm Collectibles 1/6 scale, Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, Demon Back Baki. It's a long title, like I said in the intro, but it refers to a very specific version of this character,
but for all intents and purposes, it is Hanma from specifically the season Son of Ogre Baki Hanma, which, if you're new to the channel, this is where we like to usually do the lore section. My reviews are a little different than other reviewers. I like to get very in-depth, as you can tell by the length of the reviews, but that's because I like to acquire characters I care about. I'm different than other reviewers. If I don't care about the character, I'm not gonna go out of my way to spend time, money, and energy to acquire the character, right? But that's besides the point. Let's get back to Baki. So, Baki, for those who are in the know and for those who are not in the know, who is Baki? Baki is pretty much a fighter, right? Obviously, you can tell by how he looks. But not only is he a fighter, he essentially is raised by not even the strongest man, the strongest creature on Earth, known as Yujiro Hanma, which we'll see how I feel about the Baki figure. I didn't want to buy just both at once, but we'll see how I feel about Baki, and if he's really good, then maybe we'll spend the money to get Yujiro. But Yujiro is an iconic character, and the reason I say that is because in Baki, both the son Baki, son of Ogre, that's literally his father's like nickname, Ogre, is like they pull off freakishly superhuman feats of strength, akin to Kinnikuman actually. You could argue very greatly that Baki was heavily inspired by Kinnikuman. A lot of the tropes that, originated from Kinnikuman show up in Baki, right? In Baki, and this kind of segues back into the lore, Baki essentially, I don't want to give away too much, but the Netflix anime starts off, is not actually the beginning of Baki. Where the Netflix anime begins, and we'll actually, you guys got a good look at the box. I don't want to yap too much on the lore, because then I'll get caught up and then stay here for 5 minutes without actually opening it. So, it's a good view of the box. Let's get into what we actually want to see. So, as I was saying, the Netflix anime actually doesn't represent the beginning of Baki, right? The Netflix anime, I want to tear the box. Let me be careful about how I do that. The Netflix anime actually represents, there we go, clean slice. The Netflix anime represents, if I had to call it, kind of like season 3 of Baki, right? The reason I say that is because the original Baki, really nice. Really nice. The original Baki doesn't even rock this design. The original Baki actually looks almost, I don't want to say totally different, but pretty different, right? Sorry, camera, I didn't mean to punch you there. Anyways, looks pretty different. So here's the box without Baki in it. That's his clothes. So that's one of the reasons why his price tag is a lot heftier compared to his, I think it's what, $30, $40 counterpart versus this version, which is like 100 plus. Because he comes with this cool mechanic, which I'm definitely gonna use for the shorts, in which he has an extra pair of clothes. So you can literally, like if you want to do casual scenes, or not even casual scenes, if you actually watch Baki, there's a lot of scenes in Baki where he actually just randomly, like people try to jump him while he's either on a date with his girlfriend or hanging out with a local kid that he met, that he became friends with, or trying to train him or whatever. And like these crazy, and it's not like, I don't know, silly villains. It's like assassins, serial killers, like real, like evil, vile humans. And it's crazy because he'll whoop booty in these fits. So it's pretty cool. That's one of the big reasons I actually got this version, because I really wanted this. It adds a lot of value to me. So as I was saying, back to the lore, it's a quick view of the accessories that he comes with. Very nice. I love the packaging, by the way. In my reviews, I like to give a look of I try to give the experience of what if you were the one sitting here right now unpackaging him for the first time. So we are going to get into it and unpackage him, but I just want to show it off. Very nice. I like his kicks. His shoes look clean. One thing I really wanted this Baki for was obviously his body looks amazing, but it sounds like a weird compliment, but I love the hands. Hands are super important when it comes to trying to use these figures, like actually use them. So the multiple heads, multiple faces. Wow, this Baki, this feels like a premium release. I mean, it is, but it's got that feeling to it. You know, some premium releases claim their, ooh, look how clean that came off. Nice little plastic. I'm a weirdo. I keep all the plastic, but that's just because I like to preserve the figures when I'm done using them. Baki, wow. I'm not even trying to sound funny. I know this is a video, but as soon as I opened up Baki, a fresh air like kicked into the room. Kind of like that fresh car smell. Holy snap. Let's get a good look at him. Wowzers. Woo, that demon back. I love that he has the scars too. It's not just the demon back, it's the scars. So yeah, back to the lore. Let me just get the lore over with so I can start gushing about the character. So the Netflix anime is not the first season. It's kind of like season 3 pretty much. The original Baki doesn't look like this. He has a similar face, obviously. Baki is always known, and you'll see if I get Yujiro, which I don't know. I'm kind of impressed with Baki. I'm thinking I might get him like next week or something. But anyways, if you look at Baki's face, he's got like a pretty boy face, and that is a sharp contrast to every other character. The reason I mention that is because the pretty boy face is the only feature and that kind of remained from the original vision, right? The original Baki, he had orange hair, right? Not as spiky, kind of more of a curly fro. Yeah, kind of more of a curly fro, especially even before the first quote unquote anime where he has orange hair. Before that, there was actually an OVA. The OVA is fire. I wish we got a whole series in that style. Go watch the Baki OVA. Pretty sure it's just on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. And the OVA has him with the similar pretty boy face, but less spiky, more curly. Kind of, I don't want to call it Yusuke because we did a Yusuke review, but if you watch the actual anime, you know what I'm referring to. But yeah, so this iteration is kind of like season 4 or season 5 of Baki, where after all the madness that his father Yujiro has put him through throughout all the other seasons and all the trauma he's experienced from discovering his family and all this other stuff, he essentially becomes the demon that his father wanted him to be. And that's the whole point of Baki. So to kind of sum up his character and the lore section, his father's the strongest creature on Earth who literally had no one who could defeat him. So it's literally as crazy as it sounds. He met a woman. I try to keep the reviews PG. He did certain things to the woman, and then he created what he wanted to be his own nemesis, which was Baki. And obviously, Baki being a normal boy, well, not anymore, but starting off as a normal boy, you know, hated this and like was traumatized and then went through so much and then obviously developed a deep burning hatred, kind of Kazuya Mishima style, towards his father and wanted to take his father out. Or I guess you could say more like Jin. Yeah, more like Jin Kazama. I mean, they all hate each other. You get what I'm trying to say. Sons, Japanese sons hating fathers, anime characters hating each other. It's a tale as old as time. I love it. But that's the lore. So yeah, the reason I say it's reminiscent, let's get this plastic off. Oh, it's probably trying to show me, yeah, we can show this on stream. So his body actually comes apart. Or do you just pull the clothes off? I wonder. No, I think you just pull the clothes off. Yeah, I think you just get Baki stripped down. But he feels extremely sturdy. And I mean that in a great way. Nylon gloves. Wow. And I mean that in a good way because I'm a strong person, and when you handle a lot of these figures, you have to be, you know, gentle. I like to say relinquish your strength, right? We use our strength as people for so much, to work out, to go to work, to clean, cook, whatever. But sometimes when you handle a figure, you have to be careful. Break, snap something. How many posts you've seen on the internet? I just bought this figure, it broke out the box. You sure it broke out the box, bro? But yeah, the reason I mention that is because as I'm showing off the articulation, he just looks like and feels so high quality. Like, I'm gonna really be able to get crazy with him in the short. Wow. And what I mean by is I'm actually applying, I don't want to say considerable, it's not like I'm trying to break the figure, but compared to my other figures, I'm definitely applying some force. You can hear it in the squeaks, and not in a bad way. More so, that's how tight and snappy his joints are. Really impressive stuff. Let's take it from the top. Articulation. Well, presentation first, sorry. So I love the brown on his hair, right? Hopefully the camera is getting a good job at picking this up. There we go. But you can kind of see that it's multiple shades of brown. It's not like a lazy paint job where they just did one brown. And one could argue that there's even a slight hint of burgundy, because you see these darker tones on the front, which obviously are meant to represent the under of the bang, closer to his face. I actually really appreciate the darker bang towards the face because it kind of develops, yeah, camera's catching it nice. See how how it causes shadows around his eyes? He's a really cool looking character, and it's easy because the design is kind of simplistic. It's like I say in the Kinnikuman reviews, go watch those, quick plug. It's like I say in the Kinnikuman reviews, these designs have that Dragon Ball effect where they're simplistic enough that if you were to create the character in a video game or an action figure, there's no reason why they shouldn't look great, because it's not an overcomplex design. So that's the hair for you. Really think it's good. Get a back look at the back. Wow. I really appreciate camera recently. Have you guys been enjoying the improved quality of the reviews? I know there's only 2 upgraded reviews out, but I'm trying to, well, technically 3, because the Toguro one, we did it as well, but nobody watched the Toguro one, sad face. Everybody watched the Toguro short. It's okay, some people just want to see bad guys get beat up. They don't actually want to figure, as funny as that sounds. But that's the back of the hair. I really think it looks great. I love it captures the real wild and free look that he has in the anime. It's very nice. So yeah, season 1 of Baki is kind of like his coming of age story. Season 2 is a big underground tournament where he meets his brother. You should watch all of it. And then the Netflix one is kind of like season 3, where the first 2 seasons, after establishing the whole cast and the relationships, they introduced kind of like the Kinnikuman effect, where they introduced a new team of bad guys to fight the team of good guys that Baki helped create after beating all their booties. It's Kinnikuman. It's literally Kinnikuman, except way more violent and absurd. Well, I can't even say that because Kinnikuman's violent and absurd too. So it's awesome. I love both these guys. These guys, shout outs to the poll. We're gonna do, Baki and Kinnikuman together for the short. So at the end of the video, make sure you guys stay tuned. I try to do PG shorts. That way, both collectors and people who are just casual viewers that maybe are thinking to themselves, I have a loved one, a son, a brother, father, mother, sister, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be. And I want to they like Baki. Should I get the figure? And I'm unsure. Well, I'm glad you came across this channel, because we're going to give you the maximum review if you've got the time to find out as to whether or not you should get them. So that's the hair. Onto the face. I already exemplified how this develops a shadow on the eyes. You can consistently see it too, thanks to the good lighting. I really appreciate they captured the pretty boy face. Even though this face looks a little lifeless, you gotta remember this is supposed to be like his neutral face. And the reason I think that actually works, that quote-unquote lifelessness, is because if you watch the anime, there's a lot of moments where Baki just doesn't give a crap at what's happening. Like literally, somebody could be killing somebody, and I'll do it in the short. He'll have his hands in his pockets, and he'll be like, all right, I don't even care. Like, that's not me? All right, cool. So I actually appreciate, the lifelessness look on his face. Like, loves getting pinched by these extra nice tight joints. And he has, like I said, the dimple, little beauty mark. And I actually think it captures, the likeness captures, because that's the thing, I have enough muscular dude figures that you're able to see the different ways that they capture the musculature, right, in the sculpt of the figure. And I have to admit, the Baki one especially does a very great job at representing the Baki art style. Baki is known for having very dramatized limbs, very dramatic kind of looking physiques, and it's crazy. I think they strike the perfect balance of anime, dramatized, and then also a little bit of, okay, I don't want to say tone it down because he doesn't feel toned down, but let's mold it in a way where it feels palpable in reality. Kind of like the Imagination Works Luffy effect, where it makes the character feel like you're holding the real character, and that's a compliment to the figure. So, back to what I was saying, moving past the head. I really appreciate all the deep, rich shading on the muscles. One reason I want to point that out is because the camera is capturing it beautifully. Thank you, improved lighting. The reason I want to point that out is because you can see not only is it the nice, clean skin tone that is the base, but on top of that base, there's a lot of red/pink hues within the muscles. And I really appreciate that because not only does it represent obviously real life human physique, but it also gives him a slightly like demonic radiating energy kind of effect. Like if you used to just look at this figure from afar, because of the scars and the shading, and then obviously the beautiful shading on the demon back. Let's just highlight the demon back really quick. The demon back is a perfect example of it. The red hues that kind of glide across his skin tone combined with these kind of subtly deep red scars, right? Because those are clearly red, but they're molded and they're colored in a way. For example, this scar is deep red, and then this scar is like a light pink. And then this scar is closer to a flesh tone. And I say that in a great way because it really looks like that this is the ravaged Baki from all. That's why I had to highlight in the lore section that this is not the first Baki. This is like season 5 Baki. Not his final form per se, but pretty dang close to it. And that's why this figure is pretty popular. I mean, also the clothes gimmick that lets you just henshin into casual Baki, which we're going to show that off after we finish our presentation. But pretty great stuff. So arms are really good. Again, I know I already highlighted the musculature, but just to specify, because that's what these reviews are for, I love how a lot of different figures handle this differently. I love how the musculature actually looks like it's intertwined / seamless. So what I mean by that is the seam of the seam of his rear delts, right? And his trapezoids into his front delt. It just creates like this really nice looking shoulder effect. And I think it looks really good. And I have to point that out as a highlight because not every figure obviously in the world has that. Some figures have weird looking elbows. Some figures have weird looking knees. And I'm happy to say that, to me at least, it doesn't really seem like Baki has either. Like that's a very natural looking knee. And I actually like that it has a little bubble there, kind of gives it that, because these are fighters. And I know some people only watch anime and don't know too much about real life fighters, but real life fighters, as they fight, their body changes. Their elbows become sharper. They have calluses on their knuckles, on their hands, on their feet. Like they become rugged, tougher, different. Some would argue demonic, and not really, I'm just joking. But you know what I'm trying to say? The point is, I feel like they did a good job at really representing that fighter kind of musculature physique versus Kinniku Man, who I think he's great. Actually, we should get him in here really quick as a good example. Versus like Kinniku Man, who he is great too in terms of presentation, which we have to keep doing a review. I feel like I'm teasing you guys, but it's just because I feel like I'm trying to do reviews for stuff that doesn't have as many reviews. Anyways, if you compare it to Kinniku Man, which they actually scale wonderfully together, that's awesome. Anyways, if you compare him to Kinniku Man, I mean, obviously he's a little like beefier and bigger, but they're different lines, but I think they get the job done. Anyways, talking about the physique in terms of the musculature, Kinniku Man is impressive, Baki is impressive, but I'm just trying to highlight how they have different kinds of muscles. They both have muscles, but notice how Baki has that Baki manga kind of MMA fighter art style when it comes, or not art style, sculpt when it comes to the muscles. And then Kinnikuman, Perfect Origins version, he's got like this superhuman, I mean, he is a superhuman, Choji, superhuman physique. Like, just look at his titties. Look, massive pecs. Like, big boy. Or not big boy, because technically Broly's bigger than him, but beefy. And Baki is like, well, I kind of want to see what Yujiro looks like. Maybe we'll get him soon. But I just spent an obscene amount of money. I don't even want to say out loud to get the rest of the Revol minis. After last night, I felt like I had an epiphany with Black Hole and Panic-Con. Probably shouldn't have done that. Another bank account, and I know my future self is gonna hate me, but I'm just living in the moment and enjoying the channel with you guys. So drop a like and a subscribe if you're enjoying this content. I feel like this Baki review is going pretty good. It's not too long, and you know, it's been fun, and that's what the channel's about. So drop a like and subscribe for more. But yeah, back to the presentation. Really just wanted to make that very random comparison just to highlight how I appreciate the difference in his musculature sculpt, right? So moving on to his abs. He's got these rock hard abs, looking great. Just want to point out, I know this is the presentation part, but I really appreciate, see how his titties are a little, I mean, his chest is a little squishy there. I really appreciate the way this figure was molded. Like, he really feels, if you squeeze him and move him, it really feels like you have the Baki. Like, I kind of want to punch him myself. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because I'm a grown-ass man. But I'm not going to do that. But looks pretty great. Forward looks great. He's got the obliques on point. Again, I love the scars. The scars, I didn't really, when I bought the figure, I just really cared about having the best version of Baki. But now that I have the guy in my face, seeing the scars is insane. And then the demon back, as I've highlighted numerous times, because you have to with this figure, the demon back, a little lore lesson, is essentially, it originated from his father, that crazy dude I mentioned to you guys, Ogre, Yujiro Hanma. Pretty much demon back is an amalgamation of all his strength, represented physically. Kind of like their Super Saiyan, low-key. And of course, if Yujiro has it, eventually in the story, that means his son has to have it. So, and then this version, like I said, is based off that fight from Yujiro versus Baki, right? And if you buy Yujiro, he actually comes with like invisible kitchenware or dinnerware. That way you guys can have your invisible meal. It's a whole reference to the fight that they had. That's the kind of level and insane Baki is. They'll eat invisible food. Baki fights invisible praying mantises. Like, it's crazy, it's nuts, but I love it. But yeah, that's the back. That explains why that looks like that. Abs look pretty good. Let's move on to the legs. Not to be weird, but his crotch also looks good. Like, these are the kind of in-depth reviews. This area looks great. He actually looks like he has a butt. And he actually looks like, you know, exactly. So this is great. And the only reason I point that out, it sounds like a weird compliment, but like, you gotta remember, I'm trying to highlight the accuracy of these figures. So it feels like they kind of ripped Baki out of the anime and said, yo, did you ever want Baki in real life? And then they handed you the figure. Kind of nuts. So moving on to the lower legs, or I guess you could say upper legs. Great. Yeah, you can even see, wow, I didn't even know that. Oh snap, that's molded too. And that's hidden. You wouldn't even see that unless you're changing him. That's impressive. I was just trying to push it up to get some articulation. That's pretty cool. Yeah, oh wow, that looks really good then. Even give my compliments to the chef, Sugoku Berishimo. I've been getting lucky with the figures. I haven't had a bad figure review yet, so praying that we keep that streak up. But yeah, I really like how that muscular structure looks there. Wow, those thighs and those quads are looking beefy. Like Baki could really just stomp someone's brains out. I'm definitely gonna have him rock Broly. Like, he's gonna wreck Broly. He's gonna be pulling off combos on that fool. And I'm gonna have Kinnikuman save in to save Baki from that. So I already got the whole plot in my head. And that's why I think figures are fun, because it gets the imagination going. I don't even have to force the thoughts. It just comes to me. But what doesn't come to me is the editing. So I'm sorry that the black hole Pentagon review went up late last night. It's just, I had to re-edit the Toguro video because of copyright stuff, and then nobody watched the Toguro video, and then I had to make the music video, and then I had to put out, you know what I mean? It was a lot, so I'm sorry about that. But back to the legs. That's what the hamstrings look like. Really good stuff. Quads look pretty good. As I mentioned earlier, the knees look solid, and I really appreciate that this knee has like this bubble. Not a bubble, but you know what I mean. Like it points out a bit, because if you want to do like a diving knee pose or a strike pose or something, I pinched there as well, or a strike pose or something, you could really pull it off, and it looks successful. It looks really good. So, and then lastly but not least, we have the ankle, obviously, which I guess I didn't point this out in the presentation, but I really appreciate, yeah, that's a good shot. I really appreciate his little wrist guards, little wristbands, ankle straps, and they're movable, which is also a plus. Also a big plus, sorry. Also a big plus. All right, that's gonna be very useful. It just looks cool. And I appreciate stuff like that because it's subtle, right? But let's say you wanted to give a dramatic effect where like one picture his wristband was here and then the next picture his wristband was there. You wouldn't notice it, but to the human eye, subconsciously, they would get the speed effect. And I know because it's been working in the shorts. But yeah, that's kind of it for presentation. Let's just get into the articulation now because we're kind of 20 minutes, 30 minutes in. And I don't like for these reviews to be longer than an hour tops. Even then, the hour mark has been a bit subjective. I kind of want to tone them down even more, but I put a poll up and people said they want specifically this kind of content. They want longer reviews, lore for the character, love for the character, anime shorts at the end. They said that's what they want, and I'm gonna give them what they want. But articulation. Pretty good 360 swivel, pretty painless. I'm trying to just do the forward without moving his body. That's actually pretty good. It seems like he has a mechanic. Well, it's probably just because the way that the chest is made. Actually, now I think about it, because this chest is this flexible piece, there's no restrictions in how the head is moved. Yeah. Oh, I popped his head off by accident. I got a little too, you know, but still, pretty good. I'm impressed. I guess this mechanic is, this is my first time handling a Storm Collectibles, so this is really cool. I'm glad my first Storm Collectibles was Baki. I had to get Baki because I'm like, yo, there's like literally no Baki figures, and these guys seem to be the best ones on the market. So that's what the head looks like. Let's get into arms. So everything is a nice, clean gesture, right? It's got that on a ball joint there with a nice little swivel, right? And what I like too is you can, yep, that's exactly what I was hoping for. Move each part, sorry, just want to make sure it's focusing. Move each part independently. So it actually comes out feeling pretty great. I guess my one complaint that I'm noticing, that doesn't go as deep as I expected. It's still pretty deep. I'm talking about his flex. It's still deep. I guess I was expecting a bit deeper. Oh, literally popped off bro's hand. Sorry. It's not a fault of the figure. I just applied too much force simultaneously. Yeah. Not as deep of a flex. And the only reason I feel like that kind of matters is for when you're pulling off like those wrestling moves, like a rear naked choke. You know what I mean? You could really, like, look how, I love this guy. He has his flaws, but I still love him. Look how deep That's super deep, bro. Could literally have Suguru choking somebody out. Versus Baki. And we can try to mess with his. So this is a butterfly joint, right? Kind of similar to some of the SH dudes. But it seems like you can kind of get it good. Is it as, it's kind of deep. I'm just trying to think of like if he's choking someone from behind. It's not that bad. Yeah, you just gotta manipulate. You gotta manipulate him a little more than Kinnikuman. Yeah, it just requires further manipulation. But if you manipulate the figure properly, yeah, that's not bad. Because someone's head's definitely, like even my finger's tight in there. Someone's head's definitely gonna be popping off. Not like in a bad way, but like in a funny way. Like choking them out. So yeah, pretty good. Shoulder. I like the independent bicep movement. That was the flex for you. I think the hands in and of themselves are also pretty good. Camera focus, thank you. Look at that. Really good. His wrist feels so smooth and easy to manipulate, and the hands don't feel like they're gonna pop off every 5 seconds, which the only reason I mention that is because when you're trying to manipulate wrists, my biggest pet peeve is when you're handling a figure that you're trying to manipulate the wrist and it's like literally every 2 seconds the hand pops off. Super frustrating if you're just trying to play with it, or in my case, if you're trying to make the shorts, it's even more frustrating. So this is the ab crunch backwards. Pretty great. He passes the camel clutch test. Kamaru Kurachi. Ab crunch forwards. Pretty sensational. I like to say he passes the battle damage test, right? Where you smack someone into the ring like, nani o tsuru da. Pretty good. And this moves freely. Wow, you can even go full 360 with it. That's kind of cool. Just to highlight how crazy the demon back looks, I totally flipped him around and he still looked like he has rock hard abs. That's funny. But yeah, and when you flip this, you actually get to see the rest of the mold. So that's even cooler. Allows for some nice dramatic dynamicism. Yeah, you know, this guy's not a Yamaguchi, but for his build and his size and his bulkiness and his feel, as in the sculpt, he can get some pretty dynamic poses. Cool stuff. And then obviously middle rotates freely. Again, I appreciate how sturdy he feels and how free he feels to handle. I always say, for the people, and I want to shout you guys out, for the people who have been tuning into every video, because I know I see the stats. Some of you do have notice on. Some of you are literally watching every video I put out, and thank you so much. Even if you're not liking every video, you're still watching every video. And the thing I'm trying to point out is, what's the number one thing I like, guys? Simple style, heroic action. The SH Fig Arts line, where he looks great, he feels great, he's easy to handle, he feels like a good, like, I'm happy. You know what I mean? That's why I've been enjoying the channel, because stuff like this, the figure reviews, allows me to tap into my passion a bit more, because I stopped collecting for a long time, I'm not gonna lie. And then not only that, but it exposes people to the character. I don't think Baki needs exposure. I think Kinnikuman needs exposure. So we use on this channel, highlighting and showing these characters the same love that I do Kinnikuman characters, to maybe convince people, damn, if he loves Baki so much and he loves something that I love, maybe I'll give a shot at something he loves. Maybe there's something in that is awesome. And spoiler alert, there is. Go watch the videos. But getting a little too energetic. I'm sorry, guys, just having fun with this Baki. He's great. I really like it. I really like it. Let's see if he does of course he does the Yujiro split. He's literally Baki. This is the best Yujiro split I've seen of all of them. Bro, look at that. Bro, it's just sitting on my hand. Spinning about the kick. Nah, we're gonna go crazy with Baki. Yo, dude, Baki is sick. Is this the most energetic I've gone in a review? Dang, I feel like I'm letting the Kinnikuman down. It's not that it's not the case, it's just more so with the Kinnikuman figures, I kind of know to expect that. This is my first Storm collectibles, so I didn't know what to expect. Especially from the photos, these guys, and I don't mean this in a bad way, they always look like statues. So I'm like, are they really, that posable? And spoiler alert, I'm happy to find out I was wrong and I took a risk. That's the point of the reviews. J-Man takes the risk with his money, and you guys tune in, and then you guys see if you want to get into the series or get the figure. That's how these reviews work. That's how the structure works. And then if you want to check out Kinnikuman and stuff, there's plenty of music, videos, and gaming and content and figure reviews to check that out. But yeah, Yujiro Split, really good stuff. And then I want to see the final part of the Yujiro Split is this. Yes, he can do it. Nice. I was gonna say the final part of the Yujiro Split test is the ankle rock. He can do the Yujiro Split. Let's go. He's the first dude I've seen be able to do the Yujiro Split. Let's Soria. And I like if you twist it. Yo, I'm gonna have mad fun with this dude. Shout outs to the poll voters. But yeah, and then you could just, and I was getting aggressive right there. So for people who, I'm not trying to sound funny when I say this, don't use as much strength, you're gonna be fine. So yeah, that's the Yujiro Split. Oh my gosh, my finger keeps getting pinched. Get to look at swivel on the, no surprise there. At this point, if you hear the squeaks, it's just because this guy's fresh, and I like it. I don't know about y'all, but I like when my figure's squeaky. It means he's new. It's a nice double jointed knee. Really could get a nice high kick. Nice knee to the face. Dude. Or you could get like a nice... Nah, Baki is gas. Might have to... don't do it, J-Man. Yamero. Don't buy Yujiro Hanma. Especially because Yujiro's been more expensive than Baki. Really awesome. Really awesome. I like it. So yeah. Then here's the foot. I already showed off a lot of the ankle rotation, but we'll show it again. You can get super extreme of every figure, of any figure, sorry, I've collected so far. Maybe I need to revisit. Oh no, Kinnikuman's got some nice ones. Let me watch what I say about. Other than some of the Kinnikumen, which obviously are super wrestlers, he's got the most impressive ankle rock I've seen in a figure ever. And it doesn't even look bizarre. Like you could pull off some really crazy looking contortions, but it looks natural because of how it's molded. Really good stuff. It's like they knew the assignment. They knew the assignment. They watched the anime or they read the manga or something. They knew the assignment. They knew how these guys need to be twisted. And that's what makes me smile. You guys can't see me right now, but I'm smiling. That's what makes me smile with certain figures is when they know the assignment. They know what the figure and the character requires. That's cool. Nice little toe joint there. Kind of already showed that off. They know what it requires, so I really appreciate that. That's the accessories. We're already kind of reaching the 40-minute mark. Let's get, I mean, that's not the accessories. That was the articulation, sorry. We're reaching the 40-minute mark, so let's get into the accessories. Let me take off the second layer of plastic. So these are the accessories fresh. His kicks. I'm assuming drama hands. Grapple hands. Those look like fighter stance hands. Yep. These are like reaching hands. And then these hands are kind of like, you know what I mean? Which he uses to pull off special moves. Or if you're trying to be funny, you could do like that's a good idea for a short, actually. I'm gonna do that. Think, Mark, think. What are you doing, Mark? Yeah, let me show you the faces up close. Can't wait for the Jada Toys Invincible stuff. I love these faces. Damn, we might have to get Baki versus Yusuke and Toguro because they have the battle damage faces. But yeah, this face looks great. It was like you're punching him. Wow. Tenne. Kono yaro. This is like his demon mode face, similar to his father. You can also use it as a speed face. This is supposed to be his demon mode. You can literally tell from the hair sculpt. Looks phenomenal, holy crap. Yeah, but you can use this. I love these faces because you can use this in a variety of ways. Again, you can use this to exemplify that he's approaching you at such a fast speed that his hair is pushing back, or that he went Super Saiyan, or demon back. You know what I mean? I'm just making a joke. Don't start a war. And then this is like his angry head. I actually, and I'm saying this in a good way, I actually appreciate that they're all different head sculpts, because I don't know if any of the reviewers mentioned this, but it's very subtle. Sorry, I'm just trying to grab all of them for you guys. Look at the hair. The hair is molded differently for each sculpt, so it all exemplifies a different scene or a different action or a different emotion. Angry hair has like a, if you ever watch anime, kind of has like the hair splashing out like he's yelling, like ah. And then this one, obviously I already showed you. If you look at his hair, it's kind of moving to the side, really complements that movement of him getting punched. And then his demon back hair, I mean, that one is the most obvious. And then obviously the expression is different too. You can see that he even has like the determined squint, versus this one doesn't have that. So I actually appreciate that they straight up went for different face sculpts. But that was the accessories. So this part of the review, I'm going to cut back. I'm going to get the clothes out and show you guys that. Okay, so really quick, I just want to show you guys what it looks like in the plastic, as if you were getting the figure. Pretty helpful. I'm definitely probably going to keep this just because it'll help me store the outfit. Obviously, I'm probably going to use him more in this, but I want to use both, so it's nice. So obviously, I'm not trying to get in trouble. I'm not going to move my thumb, but I just had to show you guys that the way you change the clothes is you pop the feet off and then you pop the hands off. And the only reason I mention that is because, as funny as this sounds, this dude has a fully sculpted rear end, like highly detailed. I was laughing. I was like, what the heck? For no reason, highly detailed muscles and everything. And it's made from the same flexive material as the chest. So do with that as you might imagine. But I know that they did that way when you do the leg, articulation, it doesn't get in the way. But we're gonna cut to him with the clothes on. Just had to point that out because these reviews are in depth. And I haven't seen a reviewer talk about that, so I thought that was fun. So I guess I can show this part now since we're past any spicy parts. You just pull his shirt down, literally, like you're getting him dressed. It's actually kind of really cute. And what I like is you can see his muscles through the clothes. His clothes, for those who work out, are made to a very similar material to like Under Armour shirts, which for a figure is kind of insane. And I mean that in a great way. Like, you would never think that would exist. But yeah, look at how the shirt, wow. This was easily worth the price of admission. Look at how the shirt, I'm like stuttering, what the heck? That doesn't happen on the J-Man review or ever. I don't stutter as a person. Like, what the heck? That looks amazing. I've just never seen anything like that. Let's get him fully clothed. Okay, so we're back. Just wanted to point that out. Seems like these are extra wrist pegs. If I'm assuming you want, or for whatever reason you lose these, or you want a wrist peg that goes out further for certain poses. We're gonna play around with that later. because I definitely need to test that out. But I just want to show you guys how to set up casual Baki. And I just changed his face expression that way. Try to recreate one of those scenes, if you guys have watched Son of Ogre, where he's hanging out with his new little buddy. You know, the strong heroes always have a little fella. He's hanging out with his little fella, and then someone does something to his little fella and like tries to attack him. And like, bro, why would you try to attack a kid when you're hanging out? When that kid is hanging out with Baki, that's a big mistake. Wow. And then obviously the musculature, oh, let me put his hands on. And then obviously the musculature and the scars just complement that. So yeah, look at that. Wowzers. Really good stuff. Could be like, Yuru-san! Yamero! Teme! Yo, he looks mad good in the clothes. I'm actually pretty impressed. Also, let's compare the ankle articulation with the sneaker. That's actually kind of important. Okay, still some rock, but obviously because of the mold, not as much rock. Not as much, definitely nowhere near as much forward ankle. But still some decent back ankle. So you can still do the most important stuff, which is kick people. Right? And then toes still have articulation. Pretty stiff, because that's just because mine is brand new. Literally brand new. Don't worry about my gloves getting caught up. The toe thing is really good though. That's super good. Sugoku Berishimo. No, that is actually really good. I gotta compliment that. And you hear how it snapped? Really good. Snaps back into place. His shoes look really good. We actually have another character who has similar shoes. Let's compare them. Teribanda. Hopefully the camera's properly picking him up. He's got these clean kicks, clean all-stars. Very nice paint job. Very meticulously done. I'm actually looking at it. It doesn't even look sloppy. It looks very well done, actually. And very clean white finish. Wow. My compliments to the chef. And then Terry Man, just for comparison, his is very clean too. No bleeding paint, no scuffs. Look at that, collecting figures made by people who care. It's the best kind, because then you care. But anyways, really good stuff. Just want to show off Baki. I feel like we kind of covered everything, right? We did some comparisons to a couple of other figures. We showed some scales. I showed off all the articulation, right? We went over the lore, showed the accessories, and I even did the costume swap for you. And I even did something that might get me in trouble, which was show half naked Baki. So I feel like that's gonna be it for this review, guys. I really enjoyed this. I hope you can tell I enjoyed this by the sound of my voice as the review is going on. I'm probably gonna end up buying Yujiro. I just don't know when, because if I can be transparent, I let my emotions guide me last night, and late in the evening, I went and I bought every single one that I was missing of these guys. I didn't care how, I found a way. I looked at a posting, I talked to the dealers, I worked something out somehow, because I needed them. And Yujiro, unlike these guys, is literally, like, these guys are newer. So let's talk price. This is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. I think I paid like $130 or $140 for him, which is definitely a penny. It's not cheap for a figure, but I hope this review has shown you by now why he is that price, because he is absolutely a figure of that quality and of that standard. And I have to admit, as someone who's been a Baki fan for a very long time, even before the Netflix anime came out, I feel like this has been a long time coming. I feel like this is like, wow, this finally, kind of how I felt with Kinnikuman. That's why I like them together. Like, finally. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. That's how I know I like this figure when I got this thing. Guess who just got back today? Hopefully I don't get copyrighted. But yeah, I really like Baki. For sure, it's gonna be a lot of fun. You can already tell I'm gonna have fun with it. And I don't know. I think it's really great. So hope you guys enjoyed. If I had to give him an overall rating, I paid like 140. I would say, honestly, I don't want to say it's like immediately worth it. But if you can see with the quality of the figure, the ability to have the clothes makes it feel like you have two different figures, even though it's the beautiful part is actually the same figure. You can tell by the muscles. So I think he's going to scale well. Make sure you guys stay tuned after this to see this guy beat up this guy. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's it for now. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you around. Been loving this, guys, and I hope you have too, man. Appreciate you. See ya.
何？お前はもう死んでいる。48の殺人技。手の突っ張りはいらんですよ。